Hey guys, so welcome to my second video of my Pacific Crest Trail series. This is a through hike that I just completed last year, and so this is my second video, and I'll be covering all the gear that I took from the beginning of the 5.5 months to the end of the 5.5 months. And I've kind of broken it into 5 different categories just so it's easier to watch for you guys and then easier for me to keep up with. I will just start from the bottom to the top, starting with the shoes. So I went through 3 pairs of shoes, as I imagine anybody will. Some people go through more, some people go through less. I was pretty kind with my shoes, so I only truly went through 1 pair, and then I started off with my Salomon boots. They're kind of a sporty hiking shoe, like an alternative to the leather heavy-duty hiking boot. And I was happy with these, but I just did not need them in the desert, so although I started with them, I mailed them back after the first 10 days and then ordered a pair of trail runners. And I was really happy with those. But I did have these sent back to me when I went through Northern California because the terrain was a lot different and I just needed more of a sturdy boot, and I was going through a lot of gravel, rocks, and a lot of snow. So I was definitely happy to have these, to still have these. The second pair of shoes, or the pair that I had ordered from REI, were just a pair of Montreal trail runners. They lasted me a good probably 2 months, month and a half or something like that. They did wear out pretty quickly, but I was definitely happy to have them. And then the last pair that I ended with that I think still have a couple hundred miles left on them are these Brooks shoes. I'm pretty picky with my shoes, so I spent about an hour in the store picking these out. One of the things that's kind of unique to what I did compared to a lot of other hikers is I had orthotics, and I didn't have these specifically made for the Pacific Crest Trail, but I just have really high arches. I think that these are what helped me with blisters. I only had 1 blister the entire 5.5 months that I hiked, which is pretty incredible. And these I just transferred from shoe to shoe, so I never really had those new blisters or had those blisters from having to break in shoes, and I think that this is probably why. So if you have some inserts that you like and wear in your everyday shoes or your running shoes, I do recommend. And my last pair of shoes that I took were these Crocs. They're just cheap little rubber shoes, Crocs. And these were my camp shoes that I wore. So when you get to camp, you usually want to take off your shoes, your feet are tired, you want to let them breathe, they're sore. And so it's always nice to have a pair of these. There's actually even a couple of days that I hiked 15 plus miles in them just because my feet needed a break from my hiking shoes. So next on the list were our gaiters. They're called Dirty Girls, and you can get them online. I think the website is dirtygirls.com. They're about $20 online. I did not actually buy these. I found these in a hiker box, so I got pretty lucky. But they just have a hook here, and then you can put Velcro on the back. They come with Velcro. So this is the way that you would put them on. So I glued the Velcro to the back of my first pair of shoes because I found these in the very beginning. And then you just hook them onto your shoelaces. And these keep the dirt and the rocks and different stuff like that out. I was definitely happy to have them, especially in the desert. There's a lot of sand and dirt that will get into your shoes. And they'll get in there anyway, yes, but this definitely helps. And then socks. I carried 3 pairs of socks. These are the 3 pairs that I carried. I carried 2 pairs of hiking socks. These are both Darn Tough hiking socks. That is the brand, Darn Tough. These have a lifetime warranty. These are really great socks. I think if you talk to any experienced hiker, they will tell you that this is the best brand that you can get. Like I said, they do have a lifetime warranty, so if you get a hole in them or something happens to them, then they'll send you a new pair. So I got a heavy duty thicker one and then a lighter weight one. And then my third pair of socks were these snowboarding Burton socks. These are just my sleeping socks. I wore them because they were pretty warm and pretty thick and comfy. I just wanted something to put on and that were always relatively clean, so these I didn't have to wash as often, and just an extra pair of socks. So I carried 3 socks. And then for pants, what I hiked in every day, you can hike in shorts or capri pants or hiking pants or whatever it is that you're comfortable in. I preferred these Nike compression capris. These are what I wore all the time. This is my hiking shirt. This is actually a men's small. It's a Columbia. It's one of those fishing shirts that you get, but they don't make things like this for women, so I ordered a men's small. And it's just so breathable. The back is just completely open. Dries so fast. You can rinse this out and it'd be dry within an hour if you just lay it out in the sun. and I just rolled up the sleeves, and it's also an omni shade, so I think it had about I don't know, 30-degree SPF on it, so this is what I wore all the time. Just the fact that it dried so fast, because every night you're done hiking, all your clothes are going to be damp from your sweat, and this would just always dry by morning if I laid it out flat. So, and for sleeping, what I slept in or what I would wear if I needed extra layers were my base layers. And this is another men's item. This is a men's small from First Ascent, Eddie Bauer, and it's just a base layer item, pretty basic. And I do have the women's small First Ascent pants. Let's not forget about underwear. I carried 2 pairs of underwear. This one is REI and this pair is Patagonia. These are a lot thinner and these are a little bit thicker. These just dried super fast. These are really comfortable. I used a sports bra from Target, just a black sports bra. I only had one. That's what I wore every day. For headgear or scarf, I just bought a buff. You've probably heard of them. They're kind of like, or a neck gaiter. This is kind of a lower version of a neck gaiter, just called buffs. You can get them at REI or any sports store, and you can wear them around your neck, or you can wear them as a headband. You can even form a hood out of them, or you can put it around your neck and put it all the way up to your eyes to protect your mouth and your nose from smoke, dirt, snow, wind, whatever it is that you want. This I actually used as a pillowcase on my pillow, but lots of various uses for this. For gloves, these are my gloves that I took. These are just Northface, pretty typical gloves. They did have those little sensors on them that helped you touch your iPhone and things like that, but these are so bad. I have so many holes in them, so these got really worn out, but they did last me the whole time. I mean, maybe not the whole time because I got holes in them, but I definitely would recommend a nice pair of gloves, and these sufficed for me. Moving along to jackets. So I carried 2 down jackets, which I know sounds excessive, but they're really small, and neither one of them had a hood. So I think that if I had already previously owned a really nice down jacket that had a hood and felt really warm to me, I would have just gone with that, but I didn't. I had already had this First Ascent down jacket from Eddie Bauer, and it's just really small. I mean, it's really short, no hood or anything like that. I don't actually know what the down count is for it. It's goose down, premium goose down, feathers. Actually, I think it's 800 fill power. So I just didn't think that this would be enough because it's not that big. I mean, it's a really small down jacket. So I carried this one that is a zip-in into my outer shell. So this is a pretty thin one too, but I layered them quite often. I would put this and then this one over it. And then for my outer shell, this was my Northface. The down jacket that second down jacket is also Northface because it zips into this jacket. And this is my hard shell jacket. You could unzip the underarms to allow some air. Definitely a good wind stopper jacket and definitely a good third layer. For rain gear, definitely get a pair of rain pants. A lot of girls had rain skirts actually. That just wasn't really my thing. You know that I wore my Capris to hike in, so I really wanted a pant that covered my clothes, and if I had worn a rain skirt, that wouldn't really cover much of anything. And most of the time that it rained, I was cold. So I bought a pair of these Patagonia rain pants. They just went over everything. These are small. They are so thin. They have the bottom that you can button and unbutton to fit over your shoes, so you can actually put them on without having to take off your shoes, which is great because when it's pouring down rain, you just throw your pack off, you grab your rain pants, and you just throw them on. It has one back pocket, and these are they're so lightweight. I think these were about 80 bucks, but they were really worth it, and they're just so small. And rain jacket. This is just a really cheap $30 rain jacket from Columbia, and the hood just rolls out the back. I just didn't need a really big heavy-duty rain jacket. This sufficed for me. This is definitely enough. It fit over my down jacket and my base layer and my hiking gear, so I just didn't need to spend a lot of money on a rain jacket, so I was definitely happy with that. I splurged on the pants, not the jacket. And I did bring a hat. So this was my hiking cap. It's just a Brooks cap. It's one of those really breathable ones. It has holes right here. Damage, actually, this is supposed to be black, but as you can see, It is not black. I'm wearing black. This is not black anymore. But this is what I wore every single day. I also wore a beanie, but I do not have that with me. But it was just a toboggan or a beanie or whatever it is that you call it that covered my ears. And it was thicker. I totally almost forgot. But sunglasses, I also took sunglasses. This is my second pair, broke my first pair. Do not take Ray-Bans out on the trail, guys. Do not take expensive glasses out there. Something will probably happen to them. So this is just a Suncloud pair that I bought. So this is my bag of electronics. I just carried it in a little granite gear sack, really small. As you can tell, I just like to keep all of my stuff very organized. So first and foremost, I did carry my iPhone, which I have right here. This is just what I carried. It's an iPhone 6. That's all I needed. That's what I took photos with and everything like that, listened to podcasts with, my music. I wasn't willing to carry anything more. I did buy a special case for it though. This is a waterproof case. I definitely do recommend this because you never know what's going to happen to your iPhone. This was really cheap. I bought it on Amazon, I think for $10. So, and this is my Inreach Delorme satellite messenger. My dad bought this for me and made me carry it so that he would always know that I was okay. So you're able to send messages with this from anywhere in the world. And you do have to buy this and then you purchase the plan and you can just pay monthly for it. So that was really great. I just paid for it for the 6 months that I needed it and then cut it off and then a charger for it. I saw a few people out there that carried solar panels and things like that, and I think that that's great, but for me it wasn't worth the wait. So I just bought a battery pack from Walmart. This was $30 I think, and this gave me I think 3 full charges on my iPhone. So I have some stickers on it, some Easter stickers, because I still use this every day actually. This is a really great charger and it has its own plug-in in the back, so you could just plug this in when you got into town. So I definitely do recommend this. Headphones, I took a pair of headphones and then my wall charger for my phone, and then I could also use this same thing to charge my satellite messenger, so dual purpose. Definitely. So next I carried a headlamp. This is just a black diamond headlamp. Definitely recommend a headlamp. You have to have a headlamp. Flashlights aren't really that great. You definitely do want a headlamp. This one's neat because you can kind of make it go lower, and then mine had different settings, bright, brighter. You can make it more of a horizontal light rather than a full circle light. Definitely recommend this, and take spare batteries if you're doing a lot of night hiking. And I did carry a watch with me. To me it's important. I want to know what time it is. I want to know how long I'm hiking. I want to know a lot of stuff, and if my phone were to die then I wouldn't have access to any of that. And this also could estimate the temperature for me, so sometimes I would leave it out at night and check it in the morning and find out what temperature it was. So I wear this every single day while hiking. This isn't an electronic, but this was just my wallet that I carried. This was 50 cents at a thrift store I think, and I liked that it had this so that whenever I was ever in town I would just wear it like that, and that's what I would wear if I could leave my bags anywhere and just carry this. These are all of the toiletries that I carried. I carried one of these pack towels. It's not that big, it's pretty small, but this was enough for me. This is my toothbrush and toothpaste. I just carried small ones, always bought a new one in town when I needed one. Nail clipper, Tums. I also carried a couple of Advil with me, I just think I ran out. Some floss. I always carried a little bar of soap from town to town just in case I needed one. Sunscreen, I just refilled this bottle every time I needed to. This is the perfect size. And some chapstick. This has SPF in it. An extra lighter in it, and I put all my hair ties on it. Permanent marker, and just a few band-aids. These are just normal band-aids and a couple of blister band-aids, and just a random sticker from the trail. And that is all of the toiletries that I took. So we'll start with the tent. I carried a 2-person REI Quarter Dome 2 tent. This is from REI. This was about $300. This is actually on the cheap end of a light tent. This was 3 pounds 1 ounce. That's pretty heavy for a Thru-Hiker's tent, and most people just carried a 1-person if it was just you. Even though I did go by myself, I wanted a 2-person tent just to fit my pack and everything comfortably in it, and it had 2 vestibules, so you can unzip it on the left side and on the right side. I was very happy with this. I cut down some weight with the tent stakes because I switched mine out for titanium. So this tent just came with a rain fly, then the actual tent, wow, it's really smelly. And I did not have this bag the whole time. I actually just, this was my second tent. I had to go through two. My first tent, the zipper stopped working and I had quite a few holes in it. And REI is really great. I don't know if you have an REI near you, but this is a really great store. They have a year guarantee, 1 year guarantee on all of their products. So if you're dissatisfied for whatever reason or something malfunctions, they will give you, replace it free of charge. These are just the tent poles that go with it. So my tent was what I lived in for those 6 months, and this is my ground cover. This is what you lay down before you lay down your tent to help protect your tent from any kind of thorns or rocks or sticks that may puncture your tent. And then you can also use it to hitchhike, to make signs. If you need to hitchhike, you can use this. So multi-purpose. It does get nasty though. And then, so sleeping pad. So I started off with one of those inflatable sleeping pads. This was a Thermarest. These are pretty popular. This is a short, so it doesn't really look like a full sleeping pad. It looks more like a boogie board. And I got a short just because I'm pretty short, 5'3½". This mat went down to probably the middle of my calf for me. So it was very comfortable, but it did get a hole in it. I have no idea how. I was very careful with it. I was very lucky. I got a hole in it the day before I got to a town, so it was not a big deal for me. I slept on it flat half the night, and then that was the only discomfort that I experienced with it. I would hate to have to sleep on this for another 2 weeks with it going down every night. So Thermarest also makes these that look like egg crate mats, kind of like this. They have two sides. This is supposed to reflect heat, so kind of more if you're colder at night, then you lay on it like this. If it's hot, then you'd lay on this side. I always laid on this side, and this was very long, so definitely longer than me. You could also use it during the day. While you're having lunch, you could just pull it out and sit on it, which is really great because nothing's going to tear this. Not that expensive to replace. And almost there. This is my sleeping bag. This is it all wrapped up. I have a Kelty. It's a 20-degree one, so the short size worked for me. You definitely want to get what fits you best and think about whether you're a cold sleeper or a warm sleeper. You will experience freezing temperatures, but you also will experience really hot temperatures. So you just kind of test them out, figure out what works for you, and then get a compression sack for your sleeping bag so that you can compress it to the smallest size possible for packability. Another option also, if in the desert or any hot areas, or even if you need some more warmth, is to get a sleep liner. I had one, but I actually gave it to another hiker that needed it more than I did. I did not use it that often except when I was really cold. But sleep liners are a great option. You can just sleep in that at night and then sleep on top of your sleeping pad if you're hot, or you can double your layers, sleep in that, and then sleep in this if you need some extra warmth. And I almost forgot my pillow. This was amazing. The best pillow I've ever used. This is a Sea to Summit inflatable pillow. Blue on this side, gray on this side. You just blow it up. I'll actually blow it up for you guys so you can see. Hold on. So this is the full version of it. It was very comfortable for me. I'm a side sleeper, so I absolutely loved it. Definitely would recommend it. This was about $35. So I mentioned earlier that I used my buff as my pillowcase, and so that's what I would do. I would just slip this on it once this was inflated, and this worked as my pillowcase, so I could always wash this, but this was a lot harder to clean. Let's start with my food bag. So I just bought this. This was a $7 bag from a sporting goods store. It was just I don't even know if maybe it is waterproof. Maybe that is why I got it. I'm not really sure. I would just put all my food in sacks and then stuff it in here. This is my stove. Super small. Did you even know stoves could be this small? This is really cute. So this is my MSR stove. This was the 3.9 ounce canister. You can also get bigger ones, but most of the time I did carry this because this would last me about, I don't know, 10 to 14 days probably, because I only warmed up, or I only heated water most of the time at dinner, sometimes for breakfast. That's your stove. This is my pot. It's very small. This is a Snow Peak titanium pot. The handles kind of flip out like that. really nice. The slid has the 2 clips on it and has the mouth lip, so you can use it as a cup as well as a pot. What I really liked about it, it measured 4, 8, 12, 16 ounces and things in different cup sizes. I also did pack a mosquito net. This just went over your head to protect you from mosquitoes, bugs, bees, anything like that. I used it twice along the trail, and it's so lightweight, it's worth packing just in case. And let's see, for spoons, so I actually bought this titanium spork. This is what I started with, and I actually carried the entire time as well. I started off with this Light My Fire titanium spork because I thought that I would really like having the fork, but I actually only used the spoon. And along the trail I found this on the ground. It's the Sea to Summit, also kind of like a spork, but it's an all-in-one spork, and I loved this one. I really like this one, and so I carried both of them to finish just because I wasn't going to get rid of the spork because that was, I think that was like $20 or $15 or something. So I carried both of those, and I would recommend either one of them. Definitely titanium, nothing plastic, those will break. This is my little handkerchief, and I keep it as my dish towel. This is definitely a cooking utensil. Was my pocket knife. It's a poker knife. A friend from Austria got this for me, actually, but I just use this to cut cheese or anything like that. I ate a lot of cheese on the trail, so I would use this. I packed this in a nice place too, that it was very accessible in my pack, but like I said, I'll show you guys how I packed my pack. Then moving on to water, I carried 2 to 3 smart water bottles, just the plastic ones. And I don't actually have any of those with me, but you can just buy those at the gas station or anything like that. I do not recommend carrying around a plastic Nalgene or anything like that. You just do not need it. And this was my platypus. As you can see, this was 2-liter platypus. So you just hook it to your pack along the straps, and you can always just drink it. So I definitely recommend this. This carried 2 liters. And then I always had, like I said, the smart water bottle, plastic bottles. And then to filter my water, which guys, I never really did. I filtered my water probably 10 times on the trail. Do not recommend that, do not recommend that, do not recommend that. I am just a very lazy person. But I bought the mini Sawyer squeeze. So this is the filtration device. This is your filter. This is the bag that you can put water in. And then you screw it on top like this. And then you start filtering it into your bottle or your platypus pack, whatever it is you do. But I did always have this just in case. You never know when you're going to come across a really bad water source and need to filter. But like I said, I did not always filter, and I do not recommend that. I got really lucky. I never got sick. I had people that I knew that definitely did get Giardia and other things like that, and those are the people that did filter and treat their water. So I think their illnesses are more due to sanitation issues and things like that, not cleaning up their pot properly or their utensils. So I definitely recommend staying clean. These are called trekking poles, if you don't already know. And as you'll notice, these are actually mountaineering trekking poles. They're thick, they're pretty bulky, but I just had a lot of mountaineering gear, and I did not want to buy special through hiking or long distance hiking gear when I already had stuff that I knew that worked, and I was willing to carry a little bit of extra weight. So these are by Black Diamond. These colorful items are duct tape. You will definitely need to take some duct tape with you, whether it's to repair your shoes, your tent, your sleeping bag, your down jacket, whatever it is that you have. Definitely recommend doing that. And then putting them on your trekking poles is just a really easy way to carry them, and they're really accessible, so if something happens right away, you always have these in your hands so that you can use them. And then my backpack, I carried, once again, a mountaineering backpack. It was not a long distance hiking backpack, so if you are just buying gear for this particular trek itself, then I would recommend doing a long distance pack, I guess. Mountaineering packs are a little bit different in that they're designed to carry more weight comfortably, in my opinion. This pack itself is heavy though, so I mean this weight alone is about almost 4.5 pounds. I think if you bought one today, they're a little bit lighter, but this one's probably 3 or 4 years old. This is the Ariel 65. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, the Ariel 65 women's small. It is a top-loading backpack, but you can actually unzip the whole front and load it from the front if you need to. It has a nice detachable brain right here with the zipper. The back is just gray, has the nice comfortable hip belt, and this is really what's different from a long-distance hiking bag too, is the comfort. I think that you'll never find this in a long-distance hiking bag. I mean, this is just so nice and so comfortable, and it does sit a little bit higher on your hips, so you just have to find out what bag best fits you. but this is very multi-purpose for me. I've used this a lot, and this Osprey also has a lifetime warranty. So this is my pack. Another important miscellaneous item is your pack cover. So I'll put it back in. I actually had it out. Anyway, this is an Osprey pack cover. Different brands make different covers that all fit all backpacks too. So whatever you find, this is an Osprey pack cover. It all fits into there. This is an extra large because my pack is 65 liters. And so this is just the protection for your backpack. So if it starts raining or anything like that, I mean, I can, when I show you the packing video, I'll show you how you can prevent getting all of the stuff inside your backpack from getting wet. But in order to keep your backpack itself from getting soaked and wet, I definitely recommend having these because your pack does take a long time to dry, or at least mine did, and so this was definitely necessary. I always kept this near the front in case I needed it. I needed to get to it quickly because it started pouring rain, and yeah. So I also used this pack cover when I was climbing up Mount Whitney because it was hailing, so I ripped it off my pack and was just using it to cover my head as well. So it has a lot of different purposes. Okay, so this will conclude this gear video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any more questions or comments, please just comment down below or ask me whatever you need to. If I need to make another video more in-depthly, just let me know, or if I can answer any of your questions, just let me know. The next video will be about how I packed my pack. I'll hope to do 3 videos a week on this PCT series to get a lot of information out there.